Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's program. I'm Tang Jingyuan. Even before the two sessions have officially convened, Beijing is already in disarray. Zhang Youxia has been in custody for a full month now, yet Xi Jinping still hasn't moved to formalize the procedures retroactively. What's even more striking is how the charges keep shifting. First, it was framed as political betrayal, then came leaks about nuclear secrets, and now the narrative has pivoted to selling official positions. The military remains conspicuously silent. The broader party apparatus is eerily quiet, and even state media has stopped invoking the core leader on a routine basis. This isn't stability, it's fracture. With the two sessions approaching, will she retroactively validate the detention? As a blood moon lunar eclipse coincides with this critical political window, could the CCP's fortunes be racing toward their endgame? What we're really examining today isn't just the fall of one senior general. It's a full-blown, accelerating power crisis that's slipping out of control. We're now less than 10 days from the 2026 National People's Congress and CPPCC sessions, the two sessions. Yet the very heart of Beijing's power structure is displaying something extraordinarily unusual. Zhang Youxia, Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission, CMC, has been detained for an entire month without Xi Jinping completing the necessary formalities to legitimize the move. In the history of CCP internal rules, this is exceptionally rare. Under the party's own playbook, detaining someone at the level of a Politburo member and CMC Vice Chairman requires following a strict sequence of procedures first. Here, however, the arrest came first, and only afterward did the hunt for charges begin, and those charges keep changing. The charges have flipped 3 times, and Beijing itself can't keep the story straight. Let's walk through the timeline. On January 24th, the PLA Daily announced that Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli were accused of the gravest political offense, seriously undermining the chairman responsibility system of the Central Military Commission. In plain language, this means refusing to obey Xi Jinping's absolute command over the military. This isn't framed as routine anti-corruption. It's tantamount to political mutiny within the ranks. But that kind of charge can't be openly adjudicated in a public trial. So very quickly, Beijing began floating alternative narratives externally. The first version emerged. Authorities fed information to the Wall Street Journal and various overseas outlets claiming Zhang had leaked nuclear weapons secrets to the United States. This line was pushed repeatedly. Yet even inside the military, few bought it. Zhang is a combat veteran of the Vietnam War, a genuine battlefield general, and a core figure among the Red Princelings. The idea that such a man would suddenly turn into an American spy simply didn't hold water, even for the party itself. The Ministry of National Defense soon backtracked, stating do not speculate wildly, which amounted to a soft denial. Now the third version has taken hold, selling official positions. Citing sources close to the military, Epoch Times reports that the top leadership is shifting the emphasis from a purely political framing to a criminal one. Zhang and Liu are now accused of having, over more than a decade, used their personal power and influence to sell promotions across various branches of the armed forces, amassing enormous bribes. At the same time, this selling of offices is being elevated to the most taboo offense in party culture. Faction building and forming cliques, reinterpreted as an organizational and power network problem. Sources indicate the authorities plan to prosecute primarily on the selling offices angle, rather than centering the public case on seriously undermining the CMC chairman responsibility system. This layered approach deliberately separates the political purge from the judicial process. Zhang's accusation has moved from political coup to nuclear espionage and now to corruption. What does this tell us? In one sentence, genuine political struggle is being repackaged as a standard anti-corruption case. Why the pivot to selling offices? Because within the CCP system, there is an unwritten rule. Political crimes cannot be aired openly, but corruption charges can be applied flexibly and lead to any sentence desired. From Bo Xilai to Zhou Yongkong to Su Kaiho, the pattern is consistent. A source close to the military put it bluntly, Buying and selling promotions is an open secret in the PLA, from company commanders to major generals, lieutenant generals, and full generals. Everyone pays at every level. The real question has never been whether it happens, only when the system decides to go after someone. If Zhang had real issues earlier in his career, military discipline inspectors surely knew. Why was he untouched then? Because he was still inside the power structure. Now the situation has changed. The real shock lies not in the shifting charges, but in the fallout. Political commentator Chen Pokong, citing sources inside the system in Beijing, reports that Xi's move against Zhang has instilled terror across the party. If even Zhang Youxia can be taken down, who is safe? This has produced an utterly abnormal phenomenon. The military refuses to issue statements of loyalty. The party at large is silent. Xi's own faction has gone collectively mute. In the past, whenever a high figure fell, major military regions would immediately pledge allegiance. This time, nothing. The entire armed forces are virtually radio silent. The kind of quiet is more ominous than outright opposition. It's passive resistance. Even stranger developments are visible in the propaganda apparatus. On February 22nd, the front page of People's Daily ran an entire edition without a single mention of Xi Jinping's name. In CCP political semiotics, this is almost equivalent to signaling that the paramount leader has lost authority. A true holder of power must dominate the front page daily. Now even Kai Chi's tightly controlled propaganda system appears to be slipping. Slogans that once echoed endlessly: obey Chairman Xi's command, be responsible to Chairman Xi, put Chairman Xi's mind at ease, have simply vanished. What does this mean? Not that they don't want to shout them anymore, but that no one is responding. Ren Jintao's prophecy from 14 years ago is now coming true. We have to mention Tsinghua University professor Ren Jintao here. Back in 2012, as she was about to take power, many hoped he would be China's Gorbachev. Ren, however, delivered a chilling assessment at a Credit Suisse conference. The personality representing state power, the national leader, would see his authority visibly decline. For an official like Xi, personal charisma would increasingly be lacking. We were entering an era devoid of vitality. He went on to explain that Xi, born in the 1950s, had been a Red Guard rebel during the Cultural Revolution, while Ren himself, born in the 1960s, had been a Little Red Guard. Red Guards and Little Red Guards were accustomed to struggle sessions, not institutions. Their defining trait was a lack of rules. Today we see exactly that. Xi bypassing procedure to detain CMC Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia is the ultimate expression of no rules. Ren paid a price. 14 years ago, his accurate forecast of Xi's character led to punishment from the university, with all professorial privileges revoked. Right now, all eyes are on two dates: the Politburo Standing Committee meeting on February 26th and the Emergency NPC Standing Committee session on February 28th. If Zhang's NPC deputy qualification is revoked, it means she has successfully retroactively validated the detention. If not, it signals massive, ongoing resistance inside the party. The problem is Zhang's extensive network. Pulling this thread could unravel the entire military. A full backward investigation might expose the whole PLA. She is now holding a hot potato, neither able to release it nor safely prosecute. Xi's original plan was straightforward: remove Zhang, reclaim full military control, and solidify absolute authority. The opposite has happened. Not only is the military silent, rumors are flying, and coup speculation is rampant. This reveals one thing: instead of consolidating military power, he has exposed deep cracks in it. History is full of moments when those in power misread the consequences. The last Ming Emperor, Chongzhen, executed the celebrated General Yuan Chongwan. The Song Emperor had Yu Fei, the anti-Jin hero, killed. When supreme power begins eliminating the most respected generals inside its own system, crisis is not ending. It's only beginning. Overseas commentator Yuan Hongbing previously revealed that, less than half a month after the falls of Wei Dong and Miao Hua, Zhang Youxia openly stated at an expanded CMC meeting that serious mistakes have been made in promoting senior officers. If you hold the power to decide alone, you must bear responsibility for deciding alone. Appointments could no longer be dictatorial or run like a mom-and-pop shop. Zhang and Liu Jinli jointly submitted a list of over 70 generals, claiming it reflected the will of the military from evaluations by 100,000 officers. This was seen as a direct challenge to Xi's monopoly on senior military appointments. After Zhang and Liu's removal, the CMC top echelon is down to just Xi and Jiang Xingmin holding things together. Hence the emergence of an even wilder but disturbingly logical and late-stage CCP terms. Rumor overseas. Could Peng Liyuan be brought forward, perhaps even appointed CMC vice chairman? Let me state up front. The probability of Peng Liyuan formally becoming CMC vice chairman is low. Not because she lacks ambition, but because the party dreads repeating the Jiang Qing pattern, which would instantly destroy its political image. The key point, however, is that even without the title, she may already control the real personnel valve. Who gets promoted, who rises, who doesn't. That pin might not rest solely with Kai Chi or the political work department. It could be in the hands of the Xipeng family business. US-based commentator Zhang Feng argues that if Peng steps into the spotlight, it's not because she understands military affairs. It's because there are no more pieces left on the board. A true dictator commanding the military relies on generals, factions, institutionalized fear, and obedience. When the only trustworthy figure left is one spouse, what does that signify? Extreme isolation. It's not strength, it's desperation. Jiang even describes this as politics entering garbage time, where the mom-and-pop shop ceases to be a joke and becomes an omen of terminal decline. Next up is Dong Jun. Dong Jun replaced Li Shangfu as defense minister at the end of 2023 and is widely seen as part of Peng Liyuan's Shandong network. Yet after taking office, he never entered the CMC and was once rumored to be under investigation, raising questions about which side he stands on or whether she truly trusts him. Then, on February 10th this year, she delivered a video New Year greeting to all servicemen from Bai Building, accompanied on camera by Jiang Xingmin and Dong Jun. Commentators interpreted this as high-level treatment, even if the shot was restrained and he appeared with his back turned, signaling that Dong may rise further at the March 2 sessions, possibly entering the CMC or becoming a state councilor. If that line holds, it would mean that after Zhang Youxia disrupted the He Wei Dong, Miao Hua, He Hongjun personnel channel, Peng Liyuan's influence has quietly rerouted and returned. The family business is back in force. The deeper danger of a mom-and-pop shop is that it signals regression, from a party-state system to dynastic family rule, from institutional governance to raw personal trust. Will the two sessions collide with the blood moon and prove inescapable doom? Beijing in the run-up to the two sessions is a place of surface calm and underlying dread. Zhang Youxia's case hangs like a sword over the entire military. Whether it falls, and how, will shape the session's direction. According to circulating timelines, two key nodes precede the meetings: the Politburo Standing Committee on February 26th and the Emergency NPC Standing Committee on February 28th. Observers are watching whether communiques include phrases like deputy qualification, removal, or revocation of NPC deputy status, the language that would retroactively validate Zhang's detention and move the process forward. If no such wording appears, two possibilities emerge. Either deadlock at the top prevents resolution, or someone is deliberately stalling to block Xi from completing the formalities. That kind of stalemate is most dangerous if it drags into the two sessions. Many delegates are classic fence-sitters. They lean toward whoever appears to control the situation. Even more sensitive, numerous senior PLA officers are themselves NPC deputies. If no unified line is set before the sessions open, the optics on the floor will be explosive. Adding drama this year is a celestial symbol, a total lunar eclipse, blood moon, from March 2nd to 3rd overnight. NASA and astronomical sources confirm the totality phase lasts nearly an hour, with maximum eclipse around 11:33 Universal Time, coordinated on March 3rd. In Beijing time, UTC +8, that's roughly 7:04 p.m. to 8:03 p.m. on March 3rd, with the deepest red around 7:33 p.m. In traditional Chinese cosmology, the sun represents Yang, the ruler, the moon Yin, ministers or subjects. Eclipses often presage court upheaval, solar for the sovereign in distress, lunar for high ministers in trouble, or worse, war and chaos. This year's two sessions fall squarely around the blood moon. With military leadership in vacuum, Zhang's charges still shifting, propaganda not fully aligned, and now the heavens delivering a blood moon, the bizarre political atmosphere mirrors the celestial omen. British psychic Craig Hamilton Parker has predicted that 2026 would see bizarre disappearances or purges of senior Chinese military figures. Producer Li Jun, on the Elite Forum program, stated, "If Zhang Youxia, this benchmark Red Princeling CMC vice chairman, is actually executed, the shock to the entire PLA and the regime would be tsunami level." Back to reality. If Zhang refuses to confess or cooperate, it poses a massive headache for Xi. For figures at this level, the system desperately wants a confession to pull the thread, expand the purge, and solidify the narrative. Without one, momentum stalls and the legitimacy of the detention itself can be questioned. Over the next 10 days, watch three things. First, the February 26 Politburo Standing Committee communique. Does it contain even a single key phrase like studying relevant matters? Second, the February 28th NPC Standing Committee. Any action on deputy qualification? That's the validation. Third, seating, camera angles, and absences at the two sessions opening. In CCP politics, these visuals often speak louder than any report. In short, the two sessions are not merely an annual gathering. They're the party's collective test of reading the wind and choosing sides. If Zhang's case remains unresolved and procedurally stalled after these two precursor meetings, the atmosphere inside the Great Hall will be even more tense and surreal. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more in-depth analysis. See you next time.